DFW FCA's Faith in Sports. I'm Chris Schneider. Welcome to the DFW Fellowship of Christian Athletes weekly radio show, Faith in Sports, brought to you by the annual Tom Landry Open Tee-Off Breakfast. It's coming up January 12th. On Faith in Sports today, we have one of the greatest Dallas Cowboys of all time. Cliff Harris is one of Tom Landry's boys. He's a member of the Ring of Honor and a powerful force for Christ, working hand in hand with a fellowship of Christian athletes all over the Southwest.
All these things that happen like this, I believe are not things that are coincidental. I think they're God sent, and you need to respond to them in the right way, and they will turn out great for you and for them. I mean, it's a wonderful organization, and I'm so glad that they've brought so many kids to Christ up there. They put out a booklet that's just incredible, and you just see numbers and numbers of kids in fill these stadiums.
More from Cowboys great Cliff Harris coming up momentarily. This week's DFW FCA Classic moment comes from another Cowboy legend. Dan Reeves is also one of the winningest head coaches in NFL history. He will tell us about some of the secrets of his success.
Well, there's an awful lot of things. I think I always take what Coach Landry told me, because I think that's important to always be yourself and, also tell the truth all the time. But also, I think, being a Christian, you try to, tell people how important the faith has been for you, not only in your, life as a football, player and a coach, but also your life as a family. And, there's so much needed now for our children.
Dan Reeves with a classic moment later this half hour. Also joining us on the show today is a great friend of DFW FCA, Michael Eddy from Denton Geyer High School.
I'm a huddle group leader at Geyer. I coach boys basketball. I'm the JV boys basketball coach, and I assist girls track in the spring. So I've been doing it now. This is my second year, and I was fortunate in college to be able to be an FCA leadership member and the school that I played basketball at, and it just really touched me as a athlete, and now as a coach I know the importance of faith and having Jesus as your foundation, and what a difference it made in my life. And I was just God really convicted me to bring that to Geyer, and so that's what we're trying to do.
More from Michael Eddy a little later this half hour. Here it comes, DFW FCA's annual Weekend of Champions Middle School Camp, February 24th through the 26th. It's at Lakeview Camp in Waxahachie. Last year, over 200 young student athletes gave their life to Christ or rededicated their life to the Lord. You don't want your kids to miss this. The first DFW FCA camp of 2017, the Weekend of Champions for middle schoolers. Go to dfwfca.org and get all the information. So our featured guest on the show today is a member of the Dallas Cowboys famed Ring of Honor. He played for Tom Landry, won Super Bowls with Roger Staubach. Cliff Harris is also a great friend of the Fellowship of Christian Athletes. He will be a big part of this year's Tom Landry Open Tee-Off Breakfast. It's coming up Thursday, January 12th. Cliff, thank you so much for joining us here on Faith in Sports. So how did you come to know Jesus as your Lord and Savior?
Well, I grew up with Christian parents, and, I had always gone to church. I think that the strength of my faith, I didn't have one specific day. I just think that the strength of my faith has grown more every year, and more that I've recognized the influence of God in my life for many, many years, and didn't realize it and recognize it. And today I do, and I'm thankful, and I know that I'm a blessed guy, and I know that God's been walking with me all these years through trails and over hills and through valleys that were dangerous terrain, and I didn't know. And I know that He was with me all that time, and whether I was clearly being the kind of person I should have been, I probably wasn't, but He hung in there with me, and I'm thankful for that.
How do you maintain your walk with the Lord now?
I'm not one of the people that are, I try to express my faith in a more subtle way, but in a most powerful way that I can, and that I don't talk a lot about it. But every morning I get up. Every morning, have a journal. I have a list of names that I go through and add or subtract or move people around or put different symbols by them to check them off whether they move up. I tell my kids, I say, you've either moved up or moved down on my list. The more you need help, the closer to the top you are. So it's a good thing to be at the bottom of my list, not at the top.
You have any favorite Bible scriptures that you tend to lean on?
I have one that is really one that I think that, and I'm going to paraphrase it if I may. It was Psalms 103. It is, as for man, his days are like grass, like a flower of the field. He flourishes in the wind, but the wind blows over it, and he's gone. And his place, remember him no more, but the Lord's mercy is everlasting. That keeps you in a state of mind of knowing the reality of your accomplishments, and whatever happens in this world, or they're like a flower of the field that blows over. When the wind blows over it, it dies, and its place remembers it no more. So all the great things that's happened to me, and I've had wonderful things happen, I know that they are not as great as things to come. So that's kind of my philosophy and the way I've approach life. So
you're in the Ring of Honor, as we talked about earlier, but you keep getting more honors. They've named a Cliff Harris Award for you in college football, and they've built a stadium with your name on it at your alma mater. All of this stuff is pretty cool, I guess, huh?
It's really cool. We give the award, the Cliff Harris Award, to the small college Defensive Player of the Year. I didn't develop it. One of my friends that does this kind of thing said we need to develop an award and give it away on a national basis. I graduated from Ouachita Baptist as a free agent and made the Dallas Cowboys team in the starting lineup the first year, and I'm hoping that this award is going to bring some kind of recognition and to players that in D2, D3, in NAIA that otherwise don't get any very much recognition, because I live that. Not that you need that, but I just think that they don't crave it because they're playing for the love of the game. But I know that this is something that I can do for them, and it's a really cool trophy. It's the cliffharris.com. You can look at it, and
yeah, I love the picture of it. It's a guy making a big hit on another guy, and that's Cliff Harris.
Yeah, that's right.
So,
it happens to be that. So
I see that some of the guys that have been on your selection committee include Roger Staubach, Leroy Jordan, Walt Garrison, Gene Stallings, Drew Pearson, Rayfield Wright, Everson Walls, Charlie Waters. It's like the who's who of the Cowboys there.
Yeah, those guys, they're a part of the committee. We try to build a certain character model in it too as well. We talk to the coach and find out what kind of young man the player is, and we make our decision.
More with Cowboys great Cliff Harris coming up momentarily, and then another Cowboy great. Dan Reeves will bring us this week's classic moment. We would love to connect with you. Our website is dfwfca.org. You can also find us on Facebook at DFW FCA, and you can find us on Twitter at FCADFW. This is the DFW Fellowship of Christian Athletes weekly radio show, Faith in Sports, brought to you by the Tom Landry Open Tee-Off Breakfast.
It's hard to believe it's been 40 years, but it's just about time to start gearing up for the 40th annual Tom Landry Open Golf Tournament. DFW FCA will hold the annual TLO Tee-Off Breakfast January 12th. The breakfast is free to the public, and Dallas Cowboys Ring of Honor great Cliff Harris will be there to tell a few stories. Come join us for some fun, have a free breakfast, and help us celebrate one of the greatest coaches of all time and a great man of God. It's the Tee-Off Breakfast for the Tom Landry Open, Thursday, January 12th. Go to dfwfca.org for all the details.
At FCA, we're touching millions one heart at a time. Since 1954, the Fellowship of Christian Athletes has been putting the heart and soul in sports by challenging athletes and coaches to impact the world for Jesus Christ. As the largest sports ministry in the world, FCA now reaches over 2 million people annually on the professional, college, high school, junior high, and youth levels. Through this shared passion for athletics and faith, lives are changed, one heart at a time. Learn more at fca.org.
Here it comes. DFW FCA's annual Weekend of Champions Middle School Camp will be February 24th through the 26th at Lakeview Camp in Waxahachie. At last year's camp, over 200 young student athletes gave their lives to Christ or redirected their life to the Lord. Parents, you don't want your kids to miss this. The first FCA camp of 2017, the Weekend of Champions for middle schoolers. Go to dfwfca.org for all the information.
Welcome back to DFW FCA's Faith in Sports, sponsored by the annual Tom Landry Open Tee-Off Breakfast, Thursday, January 12th. We will continue our conversation with Dallas Cowboy great Cliff Harris in just a moment, and then Dan Reeves will join us with a classic moment. Is God calling you to serve alongside a middle school or high school coach in your area? DFW FCA is excited to have our character coaching initiative, and we would love to have you join us. Training is available. Go to dfwfca.org and get all the information. We continue our conversation with Cowboys great Cliff Harris, who will headline this year's Tom Landry Open Tee-Off Breakfast January 12th. Now, Cliff, you've been a big part of the Tom Landry Open for a long, long time. You've been a big part of a lot of FCA events over the years. I'm guessing Coach Landry had a pretty big effect on you.
Well, I can tell you something that had a major influence on me at the same time. Jim Myers, out of the blue, called me and said, "Hey, Cliff, I've got a golf tournament. Coach Landry, he's the host of the tournament, and he said it's in Arkansas. And it's in Arkansas, and I think you're from Arkansas, aren't you?" And I said, "Yes, sir." I said, "Where is that? Where is the tournament? Where is he having it?" And he said, "Well, it's in Hot Springs, Arkansas." I said, "What? That's my hometown." And it was an FCA, Fellowship of Christian Athletes tournament. So I said, "Yes, I'll play in it." So I went in and played there and saw people that I knew and friends, and it was a great tournament held at Diamante and the course up there in Arkansas, Hot Springs. And then 2 years later, we lost Coach Landry, and they asked me if I wanted to host the tournament, and I said, "Heck yeah." And so every year in Hot Springs, Arkansas, the Cliff Harris FCA golf tournament's going to be held, and we have great speakers. They have 700 people at the banquet. It's gone from one of the smallest chapters in Arkansas to one of the largest chapters in Arkansas, and the money that they had was money that was made in the very beginning of this just by the golf tournament. And I'm so pleased to have been a part of that. And, of course, it's run by some great friends of mine for many years, and they have a ranch, FCA ranch, and it's just awesome. It's incredible what's happened. And just in that small little phone call that Jim Myers made to me about the tournament that Coach Landry's playing in.
Isn't that amazing? Something so small can become so huge.
It doesn't, all these things that happen like this, I believe are not things that are coincidental. I think they're God sent, and you need to respond to them in the right way, and they will turn out great for you and for them. I mean, it's a wonderful organization, and I'm so glad that they've brought so many kids to Christ up there. They put out a booklet that's just incredible, and you just see numbers and numbers of kids in fill these stadiums.
So many young student athletes come to know Christ with God working through the Fellowship of Christian Athletes and through people like you, Cliff. thank you so much for all you do. Again, you are invited to come meet Cliff Harris in person at the Tom Landry Open Tee-Off Breakfast. It's coming up this Thursday, January 12th. All the information is at dfwfca.org. Up next, another Cowboy great will bring us the DFW FCA Classic Moment, Coach Dan Reeves. If the Lord is leading you to be a part of the DFW FCA team, we would love to have you help us spread the news of Christ. Doesn't matter if you're a parent, a business leader, a church leader, school administrator, coach, teacher, anyone who might be interested in making a difference in your community. FCA offers a whole lot of opportunities to serve. Go to dfwfca.org, get the details. We would love to have you on our team. This is the DFW Fellowship of Christian Athletes weekly radio show, Faith in Sports, brought to you by the Tom Landry Open Tee-Off Breakfast.
It's hard to believe it's been 40 years, but it's just about time to start gearing up for the 40th annual Tom Landry Open Golf Tournament. DFW FCA will hold the annual TLO Tee-Off Breakfast January 12th. The breakfast is free to the public. Dallas Cowboys Ring of Honor great Cliff Harris will be there to tell a few stories. Come and join us for some fun, have a free breakfast, and help us celebrate one of the greatest coaches of all time and great man of God. It's the Tee-Off Breakfast for the Tom Landry Open, Thursday, January 12th. Go to dfwfca.org for all the details.
In 1966, Coach Tom Landry had the inspiration to start the Fellowship of Christian Athletes in Dallas. This year, Dallas-Fort Worth FCA is celebrating God's amazing impact on coaches and athletes during our 50th anniversary. Over 16,000 students and athletes are involved with FCA in North Texas. Nearly 500 coaches and teachers volunteer their time to influence student athletes. Visit dfwfca.org for more information, including how you can pick up some one-of-a-kind 50th anniversary products like caps, shirts, coffee mugs, and more.
Here it comes. DFW FCA's annual Weekend of Champions Middle School Camp will be February 24th through the 26th at Lakeview Camp in Waxahachie. At last year's camp, over 200 young student-athletes gave their life to Christ or rededicated their life to the Lord. Parents, you don't want your kids to miss this. The first FCA camp of 2017, the Weekend of Champions for middle schoolers. Go to dfwfca.org for all the information.
I tell students if they can sweat, they can be a part of FCA, and everybody can sweat, so all are welcome.
FCA has taught me how to lead. It's taught me how to be a leader. It's taught me how to present myself and how to live a life full of character both on and off the field.
I can't think of any other scenario where you can see people from such diverse backgrounds able to connect in a way that we can connect at FCA.
Being around other kids who also love God the same, because you get to see, wow, they love God too, and they've been through what I've been through, so wow, I can relate to that.
FCA teaches you to put Christ and others before yourself.
Just to know that, yeah, you can be an athlete and that can be what you do, but it's not your identity.
As you can see, it has greatly impacted me personally and spiritually, and will always be part of my story.
I'm Chris Schneider. Welcome back to DFW FCA's Faith in Sports, brought to you by the annual Tom Landry Open Tee-Off Breakfast, coming up this Thursday, January 12th. Dallas Cowboy and NFL coaching great Dan Reeves will bring us the classic moment shortly. We would like to thank you for your prayers and your blessings for North Texas FCA. This ministry has over 16,000 student athletes attending after-school Bible clubs that we call FCA huddles. Over 600 volunteer coaches and teachers, over 900 people volunteer for North Texas FCA in some way. And there's always something exciting going on with the FCA in North Texas, and we'd love to have you join us. Go to dfwfca.org and get all the information. We're joined on the show by one of the many coaches in North Texas that make the FCA such a powerful force for Christ. Michael Eddy is from Denton Geyer and one of the unsung heroes that are introducing young student athletes to their Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. Michael, thank you for being here. What is it that you do?
Well, I'm a huddle group leader at Geyer. I coach boys basketball. I'm the JV boys basketball coach, and I assist girls track in the spring. So I've been doing it now. This is my second year, and I was fortunate in college to be able to be an FCA leadership member and the school that I played basketball at, and it just really touched me as a athlete, and now, you know, as a coach, I know the importance of faith and having Jesus as your foundation, and what a world of difference it made in my life. And I was, you know, just God really convicted me to bring that to Geyer, and so that's what we're trying to do.
So how did FCA reach you as a kid? What happened?
Well, I was fortunate to grow up in a home that valued Jesus, and my parents taught me from a young age how important it was to know Him and to have a relationship with Him. And just because of His love and grace, you know, we have salvation, we have eternal life if we accept Him. And so when I came to know Jesus in sixth grade, you know, I saw these things in the world weren't going to bring fulfillment to me, and you know, the music, the different things the world offers, the entertainment, you know, just everything the world says is going to please you didn't, and I found that Jesus did. And when I accepted Jesus, you know, He worked in my life, and He continues to work in my life just to show me, you know, how to be more like Him, but how to be a better person and have a fulfilled life. And, you know, it's made a world of difference.
So you're now trying to share that with the youngsters in your circles that you know, are in your school, and how do they accept?
Well, we're very fortunate at Geyer. We have a great group of kids. Even in our first year, we had our highest number. We had over 30. We had a pretty committed group, about 25, and we had 5 kids go to leadership camp this summer. And we're just really excited about the leadership team coming, and just they really want their school to know about Jesus, and they're committed to doing that and bringing change. And, you know, that's one thing I realize as their coach and leader is it's their FCA. I'm there to empower them, but, you know, I want to make a difference, but I realize for change to happen, it's got to happen through them. So we're trying to empower them to make a difference. And I think they're excited about that, and, you know, I've really been in prayer about that for this new year. But I'm believing and trusting that God's going to work through them, and I know He will, because I know God has started a good work there.
There is nothing like seeing these kids on fire for Jesus.
No doubt. And, you know, I was fortunate this summer to do a mission trip with one of my leadership team kids and his dad, and we went to Alaska, and we had 57 kids involved in a basketball camp that we did, and we had 13 kids commit their lives to Christ. And, you know, when people are on fire for God, you literally do change the world. I mean, we're not only trying to change the world there in Denton and here in Texas, but, you know, throughout our nation and through our world. And this is a powerful impact of knowing Jesus, and, you know, what a difference He can make when you plug into His power, because He wants others to know Him. And when you don't worry about yourself and you worry about Him getting the glory, it's amazing what He can accomplish.
A great friend of DFW FCA, Denton Geyer's Michael Eddy. Thank you, Coach. It's time now for the DFW FCA Classic Moment, delivered this week by Dallas Cowboys great and NFL coaching legend Dan Reeves. Coach tells us some of the secrets to his success.
Well, there's an awful lot of things. I think I always take what Coach Landry told me, because I think that's important to, you know, always be yourself, and, you know, also tell the truth all the time. But also, you know, I think, you know, being a Christian, you know, you try to, you know, tell people how important the faith has been for you, you know, not only in your, you know, life as a football, you know, player and a coach, but also your life as a family. And, you know, there's so much needed now for our children, you know, to be raised in this country. And, you know, it's important, I think, that they get that good background and have a chance to make the decision for themselves. That's what I did with my children. I, you know, wanted to go to church and, you know, Sunday school and church, you know, every Sunday, but I wanted to give them the opportunity to make that decision for themselves. But I wanted to expose them, to the Bible and understanding that, to me, that's the way you have to be raised.
Coach Dan Reeves with this week's Classic Moment. Thank you, sir. FCA asks you, are you ready to step up? We are ready to equip and support you. Faith plus sport equals FCA. God is doing amazing things every day through thousands of people on teams and in schools and in communities worldwide. Learn more at fca.org. Let's go do what only you can do. Coming up next, we'll tell you who will be joining us here on the show next week, a trio of football greats. This is DFW FCA's Faith in Sports, brought to you by the annual Tom Landry Open Tee-Off Breakfast.
It's hard to believe it's been 40 years, but it's just about time to start gearing up for the 40th annual Tom Landry Open Golf Tournament. DFW FCA will hold the annual TLO Tee-Off Breakfast January 12th. The breakfast is free to the public, and Dallas Cowboys Ring of Honor great Cliff Harris will be there to tell a few stories. Come join us for some fun, have a free breakfast, and help us celebrate one of the greatest coaches of all time and a great man of God. It's the Tee-Off Breakfast for the Tom Landry Open, Thursday, January 12th. Go to dfwfca.org for all the details.
Did you know that after a trip to an FCA sports camp in Estes Park, Colorado in 1962, Dallas Cowboys coach Tom Landry felt inspired to use his position as a coach to influence young student athletes. So in 1966, 50 years ago, Coach Landry helped launch the Fellowship of Christian Athletes in Dallas. Hi, I'm Rick Bowles, North Texas Director for the Fellowship of Christian Athletes, and I'd like to ask you to tell us your FCA story. What impact did FCA have or is currently having on your life? Visit dfwfca.org for more information.
Here it comes. DFW FCA's annual Weekend of Champions Middle School Camp will be February 24th through the 26th at Lakeview Camp in Waxahachie. At last year's camp, over 200 young student athletes gave their lives to Christ or redirected their life to the Lord. Parents, you don't want your kids to miss this. The first FCA camp of 2017, the Weekend of Champions for middle schoolers. Go to dfwfca.org for all the information.
Situated on 330 acres of beautiful natural landscape with facilities to accommodate groups up to 1,000, Lakeview Camp and Retreat Center is the ideal place to schedule your next event. Whatever your group's goals are, Lakeview aims to meet your needs, providing year-round service facilities for retreats, conferences, camps, corporate meetings, outdoor education outings, school events, and family gatherings. Our friendly staff is committed to making your stay a great experience. Come to Lakeview Camp and Retreat Center and enjoy state-of-the-art facilities, activities that engage and rejuvenate, comfortable lodging, and great food in a setting that inspires the awe of the greatness of God. To learn more about this scenic location for your next event, visit us online today.
For more information, visit lakeviewcamp.net.
I'm Chris Schneider. Thank you so much for joining us for DFW FCA's Faith in Sports radio show, brought to you by the annual Tom Landry Open Tee-Off Breakfast coming up this Thursday, January 12th. Always remember, we would love to connect with you. You can find us on Facebook at DFW FCA. Find us on Twitter at FCADFW, and our website is dfwfca.org. Our thanks to our special guests today, Cliff Harris and Dan Reeves. I'm Chris Schneider, the Sports and Spirit Speaker. You can find me at radioactivespeaking.com. Godly messages with stories from the greatest coaches and athletes of all time. Find me, the Sports and Spirit Speaker, at radioactivespeaking.com. Next week, we will hear stories from Roger Staubach, Bob Lilly, and Bob Brunig at the recent DFW FCA 50th Anniversary Celebration Dinner. Guests scheduled to join us in future weeks include Tom Osborne, Tim Brown, Raymond Berry, and more. FCA's Faith in Sports is an outreach of DFW Fellowship of Christian Athletes. Hosted and produced by me, Chris Schneider. Executive producer is Rick Bowles. For information on DFW FCA, contact Rick at rbowles, B-O-W-L-E-S, rbowles at fca.org. And remember this week to do all that you do unto the Lord Jesus Christ. God bless you. From the DFW Fellowship of Christian Athletes, Faith in Sport.